Hi everyone, this is Max speaking.
Hi, this is Sebastian from the official Tixl account here. Hi, Max.
Hi Sebastian, cool that you joined. Is Leif here already?
Yes, I'm also here.
I'd like to welcome everybody to this AMA we're having today with Polychain Monsters and Tixl. My name is Max. I'm the CPO and CMO from Tixl, and today I'll be moderating this AMA a bit so that I can ask questions from the community and which you can raise here live or which you can actually send us via a direct message, or if you feel like it, you can also just raise your hand here in this tool, and then we'll give you the voice later on. Maybe a short disclaimer first. None of us has ever done this Twitter Spaces before, but we thought it's a nicer way of discussing with you, and it's more personal than just having a Telegram AMA. And obviously, it's for a different target group because usually those things happen in Telegram, and some people might not follow us, Tixl and Polychain Monsters on Telegram, but they do here on Twitter. And as this is live though, and everybody can raise the question here, and I have to just ask you to be polite and respect all the others when you raise a question. And if you do raise a question, I would ask you to do that in a short way and only ask one question at a time, because we want to be fair to everybody, that everybody gets a chance to raise the question around the partnership, around the projects. Cool. So I'd say let's start. I'm looking forward to a great conversation here. Thank you again for joining. As you may have seen, Tixl and Polychain Monsters partnered and announced their partnership a while ago. And the goal of this AMA is to give you a bit more details around the partnership, why this is so great or could be so great for both projects. And so we brought on Tixl co-founder Sebastian Gronewold, as well as the CEO from Polychain Monsters, Leif. How are we going to do this? I'll raise a couple of questions first myself, and then we already received a couple of questions beforehand. I'll raise them, and Sebastian and Leif will answer them. And afterwards, if we have more time, feel free to raise your question here live, or if you don't feel comfortable speaking, you can also send a direct message to myself here on Twitter. Then I'll make sure that those get answered to if we have more time at the end. We'll also have a nice AMA giveaway with a rare Polkadot NFT in Tixl blue colors. The information about the giveaway will be announced at the end of this AMA. And to participate in the giveaway, you don't have to ask a question. I want to make that clear. You don't have to raise your hand. It's explicitly sufficient if you just listen, and then we'll tell you how the giveaway thing works at the end of the AMA. Okay, that was kind of a long introduction, but I wanted to make sure that you have all the details, and also wanted to tell you this disclaimer and ask you to be polite because everything is live here. Cool. So then let's start. I would say let's do a quick brief introduction round. Maybe Leif from Polychain Monsters, we could start with you. Could you please introduce yourself and maybe tell us a bit how you got into blockchain and crypto?
Yeah, hi everyone. Thanks for joining. My name is Leif. I'm from Hamburg in Germany, and I'm one of the co-founders of Polychain Monsters. I've been working as a software developer before for quite some years already. Also spent some years in the crypto space. Founded a few startups. So Polychain Monsters is not, my first business. But in the last years, I grew more and more passionate about the NFT space, also because the space matured so much with marketplaces and standards like the ESC 7121. And so, yeah, this growing excitement for NFTs, I would say, is the base, or was the base for founding Polychain Monsters, together with my co-founder Leonard, which is also a software engineer.
Cool, thank you. And in summary, for those who still don't know, can you briefly describe what is Polychain Monsters?
Yeah, sure. Well, in the core, Polychain Monsters are beautifully, or at least in my opinion, beautifully animated digital collectibles, which are backed by an NFT. What's maybe a bit special about Polychain Monsters is that you need our own token, the PMON token, to get one of the Polychain Monster NFTs via opening booster packs with the PMON token. So you need one PMON token per booster pack, and one booster pack contains, in the end, 3 Polychain Monsters NFTs. And yeah, you can do that on different chains, for example, on Ethereum, but also on Binance Smart Chain. And yeah, in the future, we will also launch on Polygon, and yeah, of course, also on Tixl in the future. And I think that's already special enough, but what really sets Polychain Monsters as project apart, in my opinion, is that we and also the community have such a great vision when it comes to the ecosystem around this NFT collectibles, which also includes different gaming mechanisms and also DeFi elements and so much more. And yes, all this while we increasingly work on integrating the community more and more, for example, with a DAO functionality, which will also launch in the next few months, I guess. And yeah, so I guess it's pretty cool. So if you want, you can, of course, join our community and become a part of Polychain Monsters.
Nice, thank you. That sounds great. All right, Sebastian, could you please do the same? Quick introduction and maybe tell us a bit about your role at Tixl and how you got into the crypto space, maybe?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, my name is Sebastian. I'm also from Hamburg, or you could better say like Tixl is from Hamburg, and that's also one of the reasons why we've got such a good relationship to Polychain Monsters. It's always easier to work from the same city. And yeah, I'm one of the co-founders of Tixl. I think I'm seeing here lots of people, as the listeners might already know me from recent maybe YouTube AMAs or from Telegram. Together with Christian, I started Tixl in 2000.
Sebastian? I'm not sure. Leif, can you still hear Sebastian?
No, he seems to be lost actually. So I guess it's on you, Max, to introduce Tixl a bit more.
Yeah, that's okay. Let's Sebastian wrote me here. No. So yeah, Sebastian, let me quickly think about that. Sebastian founded Tixl in 2019. They started the whole thing in 2018. They were both software engineers, but with a business background themselves, and then they founded a couple of startups themselves, were doing a software agency, did a lot of coding themselves, and then in 2018 and then founded in 2019, they said, okay, they see the purpose of different blockchains, but they also saw that certain blockchains have disadvantages. Bitcoin was back then was slow and expensive to send. Ethereum, the same thing. We saw that recently, but there were different pros and cons for different blockchains. And then what they basically did is they said, okay, let's try to combine all the nice things, all the nice features, the nice technological characteristics these other blockchains have, and then create a new layer one network that at the same time also has layer two capabilities, so that you can basically connect any other mainnet to the Tixl Autobahn network. The Autobahn is the highway in Germany, and that's why they called it like that. And yeah, that's kind of the unique thing. It's a layer one network, but it also has all the layer two capabilities, so that Tixl can connect any other mainnet, be it Bitcoin and Ethereum, what we achieved already last December and recently a couple of weeks ago, but also any other mainnet, be it Polygon, be it Cardano, be it Polkadot. And yeah, Sebastian is one of the co-founders involved in both coding, obviously still because we are a small project, but also in all the business development things. And at the same time, as we partnered with Polygon, he's also responsible for the NFT part, so bringing NFTs to the Autobahn network. Leif,
Yeah.
was that a good summary about Sebastian? You know him for a bit
It was a
longer
good
than I
I'm
do.
also back.
Yeah,
I'm also
summary.
back.
Oh, nice.
Sorry.
So I kind of introduced you already.
Yeah, thank you. It seems like I got a call on the regular cell phone and I declined the call, but somehow at the same time I was kind of kicked from the AMA here, which is, I don't know. Hope there's no other call incoming. But
Yeah, that's a learning experience. We're all doing that the first time.
but thanks for introducing me.
Yeah, you want to add anything? Or did you listen actually?
I could only listen like the last parts, so yeah, I didn't get it 100%, but it should be fine, I think.
Okay, great. So you wanna summarize what Tixl does in terms of NFTs a bit more, because I haven't touched that one.
Yeah, sure. So what when Leif and I sat together to discuss like a potential collaboration for Polychain Monsters that then would also work for other NFT collections as well, of course, is that first of all, the goal is for us to provide a nice way of bringing NFTs from Ethereum to the Autobahn network, so that the NFTs can be used with the feature set of our network then, and to also provide a good usability for the users for that, so that bridging the NFTs is not too complicated. And then also what we're trying to bring to the NFT space is kind of the general interoperability between the different networks. What we're seeing right now is that people are minting NFTs, for example, on Ethereum or also on Binance Smart Chain. Polygon also slowly starting to onboard more and more NFT projects. So it seems that the future will kind of be a world where multiple chains will host the different NFTs. And our goal is to kind of provide an interface between all of these chains together, and also provide a platform with our layer one network for these NFTs, so that they can be transferred and used, for example, in games or DeFi applications in a safe way across the different networks.
Okay, cool. That was great. What I haven't mentioned yet is the characteristics about the Autobahn network. Maybe you can add one or two sentences about that one. I heard something about interoperability, I heard something about speed, and I heard something about fees. Could you quickly comment on those three?
Yeah, that's correct. So yeah, at the beginning of Tixl, I don't know if you already told what we have been trying to solve with Tixl really initially when we started the project, or if that's something I can maybe also.
I did.
Okay, perfect.
I did.
Yeah, for the interoperability then, if we focus on that, I would say we are currently concentrating on the development of two main parts of the network. The first one is that, of course, when it comes to interoperability, we need some kind of, let's call it, bridging layer between the networks, which allows to transfer assets from one network to another, and that should be built in a way where the user doesn't really have to deal with that too much. And that's why we're trying to build that in a way where the user can have funds on a certain wallet, let's say on a wallet for the Polygon network, and then still like call a smart contract, for example, in the Autobahn network, so that the user doesn't really have to actively care about the bridging itself. So we are building the bridging layer on the one side. The community, few of you might already have been using our cross-chain bridge on crosschainbridge.org, which is like the first step, I would say, but still, of course, under development. And we've got a cool update coming over the next weeks, which should make that even better. And then on the other side, to have our own network, which we are currently working on to make it fully EVM compliant, so that also smart contracts can kind of work on top of our Autobahn network, which is optimized for payment transactions. And so we've got a model in there which allows us to have fees designed in a different way, so that, for example, fees can be spent in the actual token sent. That's kind of bring your own gas, and or especially for Tixl, we are working on a concept so that Tixl transfers can be done without any fees, and that's kind of a mix of our current development goals and what we are working on.
Cool. And the reason, let me quickly add that, why it's called the Autobahn, I haven't mentioned that, is because transaction speeds are quite fast, right?
Yeah, correct. That's also, of course, one of the important features we are working on, so that we don't run into the same scalability issues as, for example, Ethereum at the moment. And that's also like one of the very useful features for NFTs. Maybe not for NFT transfers, where it might be okay to wait for a couple of minutes or so, depending on the value of the NFT. But especially if you think about NFTs and gaming, where you want to have like thousands of transactions per second, maybe even in one game, that's something where the network has to be capable of supporting these transactions.
Cool. Great. I think then that's enough before I hand over to the community, or I'll ask a couple of community questions. Can we quickly summarize again, as an introduction here, what the partnership was about? You were mentioning the cross-chain bridge, right? And you were mentioning NFTs on the Autobahn network. Is that correct, as a summary?
Yeah, I think that's kind of a first good summary of the partnership between Polychain Monsters and Tixl.
Yeah, I can confirm that. So the community actually loves the bridge for PMON token from Ethereum to Binance Smart Chain and uses it a lot. So yeah, pretty good partnership so far, I guess.
Nice. So coming to a couple of community questions that we received beforehand. There's one from kalov.crypto from Twitter. he asked the following: what is the valuable benefit for an investor to use Tixl and PMON as a team solution within DeFi? What is the key function to use both Tixl and PMON as a connected blockchain project? Does any one of you have a good answer for Call of Crypto?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, but maybe there's if we first maybe talk about what are the different potentials of the project on its own. I think for Tixl itself, it's like kind of an investment case, same as if you would invest into the tokens of the other layer one platforms, where as soon as the network then hopefully gets more traction, especially we are hardly working on the debt support to allow to build real applications on an Autobahn network. Then hopefully we'll also see an increased demand in Tixl. Of course, no financial advice, nobody knows, but that's kind of the vision and the idea that Tixl kind of fuels the network. And I think for the PMON token, probably Leif can give a summary of the different use cases of the token. And I think when Polychain Monsters comes to the Autobahn network, all these use cases would also then be available on the Autobahn network, and that's kind of where it comes together.
Yeah, I think what's especially interesting about the Polychain Monsters project is that the vision compared to other NFT projects, because often NFT projects kind of just push out an NFT collection and maybe have one or two use cases, and that's it. And they also don't hire for the long term. We, on the opposite, yeah, are hiring a lot in the moment. We're building a team of that will probably be around 15 team members in a few months. And so we are really trying to build the ecosystem that I mentioned in the beginning, which consists of course, the NFT collection, which will always be in the center of Polychain Monsters, but which will also consist of gaming elements and DeFi elements, and the PMON token will always be part of that. For example, already now, if you have the PMON token, you can stake it, and then you participate into or get a share of the PMONs that are used for booster openings. So you profit from real usage in our case, and that's really, really rare for crypto projects, especially in the NFT space, that you have something like real usage. Of course, again, not financial advice, but yeah, that's my opinion at least. And yeah, so I guess you cannot look at both of them as a kind of combination or connected, because in the end our projects are not connected, but we are both still rather small. And I think that can be a huge advantage, that we can kind of influence each other project. For example, we will do our best to push Tixl in the direction that they have great NFT support from the beginning. I mean, if you look at Binance Smart Chain, for example, most wallets that work with Binance Smart Chain cannot handle NFTs very well. And so, yeah, that's, for example, something where we could give Tixl for sure valuable feedback, what the users in the NFT space actually want. Yeah.
Great. So Call of Crypto, I hope that question was answered sufficiently. Then I have one question for Polychain Monsters from Escrow2. How to allow staking on the Binance Smart Chain, which is more a Polychain Monsters only related question. But could you quickly answer that one too, please, Leif?
Sure. Yeah, you just can go on our website, polychainmonsters.com, and then you find the staking page in the header bar, and you go there, and then you have to connect your wallet. It can be either MetaMask or Coinbase wallet or any other wallet that has a Wallet Connect integration. And from that point onwards, the process is actually quite straightforward. And you can also find a great article on Medium about it. So what you have to do if you have to approve something, or what you have to do in your wallet, which is also linked from our staking page. So yeah, so basically, if you found the staking point on our website, then you cannot make many mistakes anymore.
Cool. Then last one, which we received beforehand, Game ePhase asked the following. I would love the ability to see our staking amount rewards directly in the Polychain Monsters app. If possible, will this be possible? Another one for you, Leif, please.
Interesting question, actually, because that's something where you would need Wallet Connect probably. Yeah, I think we will build it. Will build that feature at some point in time, but it's not on our short-term roadmap. At least not so far. But yeah, we will add that to our backlog. Thanks for the input, of course.
Cool. So then I would say those were great questions from the communities beforehand. Thank you, everyone, for this one. I would now give the chance for our live listeners to ask questions too. How does it work? I just learned it. You can request to speak at the bottom, and once it's your turn, you have to press on the microphone icon. It's on the bottom left of my screen, depending on your device, probably. And then you can activate your microphone. Again, I would ask you to be polite and to only raise one question. And if you don't feel comfortable speaking, again, you can also just send me a direct message here on Twitter and ask the question here, and then I'll pick it up and answer it. So is there anybody that wants to raise a question? There was one, there were a couple before, but I don't see anybody anymore. If you want, just feel free to raise your hand.
I think people still have to get used to these Twitter AMAs. It's also for me kind of completely new experience.
Yeah, same here. But we have one. We have Ryan. Ryan, I'm gonna give you the microphone now. I'll send you now, so you should be activated as a speaker soon. Then please just raise your question.
All right, I think sounds like I'm on now.
Yes, we can hear you. Hi, Ryan. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice meeting you guys too. My question is regarding NFT staking. Where are the NFT staking rewards going to come from?
Cool. I think that's one for Leif.
Yeah, sure. I assume it's for Polychain Monsters at least. Yeah, the collector staking rewards, they will also come from the openings actually. Like I assume you know the mechanism we use in the moment for the PMON staking, where roughly 25% of all PMONs used for openings are rewarded to PMON stakers, and the collector staking will probably work in a similar way. But we are also thinking about that we kind of use a part of the PMONs that are now or at the moment rewarded to PMON stakers, that they go to collector stakers actually. So kind of shift that PMON from PMON staking to collector staking. But that will probably one of the first decisions that we will make together with the community, because as soon as collector staking is live in its first version, and then we will probably also add DAO functionality, and then we will decide together with the DAO where the rewards should come from in the long term. Does that answer the question? Ryan was the name, yeah, Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan, I hope that question was answered sufficiently. Let me add you here again. And if you want, you can add a second question. Are you there, Ryan?
Yeah, sorry, it's a little bit of a process getting back to be allowed to speak, but yeah, I'm here. Oh yeah, that definitely helps. I thought, so I guess if I can follow up on that, there was an earlier medium about early investors having the option to essentially sell 75% of their, or sell out of their holdings, and I thought that those investors who sold out, some of that would be put into an NFT collection pool. Additionally, I was wondering if you sell on OpenSea now, there's an additional 2.5% transaction fee. I was wondering where that 2.5% is going, if it's not going to the NFT collection pool or the PMON staking pool.
Yeah, great questions. We're actually trying around with different source or cash flow sources, I would say, in the moment, or PMON flow sources. And the OpenSea fee is one of them. These 2.5%, they are used for the dev fund or for the devs in the moment. But maybe we will also change that in the future. And yes, and the swap back, I assume you mean the swap back feature. I think that there will also be a part of it used for collector staking, maybe, but that's something that we'll figure out in the future.
I think there was like,
So we were,
sorry, I think there's like, you had early investors that you allowed to either stake for a year or they could sell like 75% of their holdings. That's more what I was referring to, as far as like, I believe that was going to be, those tokens were going to be pooled somewhere. I thought maybe for the NFT collection. I don't have the exact details.
Yeah, very good catch, actually. Yeah, that's right. Also, the term early investors got me in the wrong direction. Yeah, it's a strategic investors actually, and yes, some of them kinda decided to go for the 75% option and left 25% of their tokens to us, and these 25% will be added to the collector staking pool. Yes, as a bonus, kinda. Yeah. So you're right.
Awesome. Thanks for answering that.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you, Ryan. That was a great question, or great questions, actually. Is there anybody else who wants to raise a question? Let me see whether I have some other questions here that I received in written format. There's one that I could actually ask both of you. One is about the roadmap. So maybe both of you can quickly comment on what your projects rest of the year, whereas the rest of 2021 will look like, and then maybe at the end what the two projects try to achieve together in 2021.
Yeah, well, the thing is at Polychain Monsters, we kind of want to keep our roadmap a bit flexible, but one of the highlights that we promise our community will be for sure the collector staking, where people who already have Polychain Monster NFTs can use these NFTs and can kind of stake them and get financially rewarded for that. That's also the direction where the question of Ryan was actually. And one of the other highlights will be the Polygon launch for sure, so that we will launch on other network. And yes, I think these are the both two short-term highlights, I guess. And but there will be much more in the future, but we not yet know in which order where they will come actually. And we will of course have another generation of Polychain Monsters, which is also something that our community is waiting for eagerly.
Cool. Sebastian, do you want to add some parts about Tixl?
Yeah, sure. So for Tixl, I would say with the current market correction we've seen for the overall cryptocurrency market, we kind of switched the focus a little bit back to development. So at the current time, even Christian and I are back in coding, at least partially. I think that's also only possible because over the past months we hired a few more people that are doing a great job in the business development and you in the marketing, Max, so that we can focus a bit back on the technical aspects, especially in a phase of the market where, like currently, yeah, it would not make sense to spend all the marketing budget at once, but instead, we're using the time to focus on the two major topics in development wise, the bridging layer to and between the Autobahn network and other networks, and then to allow users to build applications on the Autobahn network. And at the same time, on the business development side, we are trying to build up concepts how we can really then attract users because, yeah, as everyone can imagine, just launching a new network will probably not attract a lot of users, but instead we need a concept for people why they should build their applications on the Autobahn network, and on the marketing side and also on the technical side, and that's all in progress. We are planning to share more insights on that very soon, maybe with some examples or maybe with some showcases that are already working. But yeah, I don't want to give out exact dates for that at the moment, but yeah, there should be something to share within the next weeks. Of course, not a full release, but I think something cool for everyone in the Tixl community.
Nice, thank you, Sebastian. Now I received two more questions here. We had a couple of Polychain Monster specific questions. Those are Tixl related questions. Maybe Sebastian, you can ask those two, answer those two. The one is staking available yet? So can you quickly comment on that one? A little hint, there will be something tomorrow.
Yeah, I also don't want to give too many details on that question now, but we are working on different options of staking possibilities. It has been requested a lot, but we don't want to just release a random staking program where you stake your tokens and then we give out some of the treasury and that's it. I mean, for the very early investors, the members of the so-called Hodlers Club, there is, like, back from the past, a staking, I would say, already. And for the future, we've been looking more at ways where it's more a long-term sustainable staking. And so you can also expect something in that direction quite soon. And then also over time, same as we are currently evaluating for the Autobahn network, some options around staking. So there's definitely different stuff to come.
Cool. And if I may add something here, we saw that with many projects, they just introduced random staking. And the point with staking is the rewards that are being paid out to stakers, they need to come from somewhere, right? So you can either take them from the treasury, then at some point the project will run out of tokens that they can sell. So many projects actually died in the past because they were spending just too many tokens, and that would actually be counterproductive here for the tokenomics. So our very entrepreneurial approach is similar to the Polychain Monsters approach. They did a very smart way of getting to those kind of rewards. That goes in the direction that Ryan actually asked. Where are the staking rewards come from? And with Polychain Monsters, they are also not coming from the treasury. They are directly connected to the amount of boosters being opened. And the more boosters being opened, the higher the rewards. And the opposite, obviously. And that gives a nice entrepreneurial variable share for each staker, but at the same time, it doesn't risk the project. And that's exactly what we're also doing at Tixl. So we just don't want to release a staking just for the stake for having any staking. It should be a very very good and safe way of offering that, I would say. And we'll have a big Medium article ready to be published tomorrow. So whoever's interested in staking and also the cross-chain bridge, a little hint here, we're going to have something released tomorrow about that. Then I have one person just click in who wants to ask a question. Could you please introduce yourself and then raise your question?
Hello. Am I audible now?
Hi there.
Hi, Max.
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi, all. I'm
Nice to meet
Michael.
you.
So my question is for Polychain Monster team. First of all, thanks so much for this wonderful project, and we really love this. These NFTs, they are really cool and awesome. So my question here is, there are like thousands of boosters being opened, every day, and the number of NFTs in the market is actually increasing. So, is there any plan of retiring the existing monsters and coming up with a new monster? So, what's going to happen is that these once these ones gets retired, maybe the value of these NFTs might spike up, and there might be a lot of new demand for the. I mean, the demand might increase for the new NFTs. So the boosters, that there will be more the number of boosters open, that can increase the staking profit. I mean, there will be more PMONs burned, so the value of tokens can increase as well. So there's a lot more opportunities. So is there any plan to retire the existing monsters?
Yeah, thanks for the great question and also for the feedback. Great to have you in the community. Well, at the moment we don't have plans to retire the monsters which we have in the moment, but rather to add more monsters so that the ones which exist now get rarer and rarer. So the probability to get them from a booster actually decreases in the future because we add more monsters which you can get from the boosters. And there will also be other mechanisms that will create demand for example, uni donkeys, which are one of the polychain monsters with the highest probability to get them in a booster. And yeah, I think we have already found some kind of creative ways to create more demand, for example, for the uni donkey or for uni chicks. And there will be more in the future. So we're coming actually from both directions. On the one hand, they will get less, or the probability will decrease to get the monsters which we have in the moment, and we will also create more demand in the future. Does it answer the question?
I think he left already, but I hope he was able to listen
Yeah.
to the question. But I like the answer. Now that there he is. Let me add him back. Can you hear us, Michael? Might be some issue with his internet connection because he's
Yeah,
gone
probably.
again. There he pops up again. 1 second. Connecting. They need to work on the speed for connecting people here, the Twitter team.
Yeah.
Okay, now he's gone again.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
But the
is
question was
there-
actually quite good because, I mean, we have so many booster openings, and because people hunt for the specials which only exist which are only in the boosters for 1 or 2 weeks, and of course you get a lot of not so rare polymons in the moment, and yeah, so we will do, or we take measures to create more demand for them, also in a pretty gamified way, and also again together with the community, because we just noticed how important it is to integrate your community, and that's the direction where we want to go with our project, to integrate the community as much as possible and to make decisions together with them. And yeah, so we know the challenge Michael mentioned, and we will work on that.
Great. He tried to rejoin a couple of times, but didn't work. I have one more question from SG. 1 second. I'll add you here. Again, please quickly introduce yourself and then raise your question.
That what makes Tixl project unique against Polkadot? Please tell me about that.
Sure, there's one for Sebastian.
Yeah, that's also a good question. So if we look particularly at Polkadot, I mean, it's definitely a unique concept with the parachains, etc. What we are working on in a completely different way is that we are building based on a data structure that's like inspired by Nano, where we not have a single blockchain, but instead a DAG which allows transactions to be processed in a different way than on a regular chain. Of course, that makes it kind of tricky to combine that with smart contracts, especially when we look at supporting the existing smart contracts which are all written on Solidity. But that's one of the goals, and to combine that with a unique fee concept where I mentioned the term bring your own gas, where we charge little fees, and then we are working on a concept that allows other tokens to be used as fees as well. And then that in the background being indirectly swapped to TXL, which is then the actual fuel of the network. And these are kind of unique elements that allow for different kind of scalability, and we're trying to combine that with a good bridging layer between other networks. So we are not building in the way like Polkadot does, where they build their own like kind of internal network between the parachains, but instead where we provide our network and making that more interoperable with the other chains. Of course, it's kind of in competition to Polkadot, you could argue, but also we think that the future will more look like a multi-chain or multi-network ecosystem, and so we are trying to be kind of compatible with as many of them as possible. I hope can you still hear me again? Max, are you still there?
Yeah, we're still here. And SG also reacted with 100% icon,
Perfect,
so I guess
perfect.
you answered the question correctly.
Yeah, I got another push notification, and I was afraid that did break the connection again.
No, that worked.
Perfect.
I think he's fine. If I may add one thing here is, I think the last point that Sebastian mentioned is quite important. So yes, you could regard Polkadot as a competitor, but we actually don't see Tixl as a competitor to any of those other networks, because exactly what Sebastian said is we know that there will be different blockchains in 5, 10 years, 15 years. We don't know yet which ones will be the ones that will exist in 5, 10, 15 years. But what we know today already is that there will be more than one. And Tixl positions itself more like the gateway to all of them in the middle. So whatever other blockchains there are or there will be in the future, they can be connected to the Autobahn network. And then the Autobahn network is the gateway to all of them, so that you can eventually connect all the different applications built on whatever other chain or network.
Yeah, maybe I can even add on that as kind of a user of networks, because of course at Polychain we use different networks, and what I think is important that you kind of start somewhere and don't try to change everything, because for example Binance Smart Chain, they just changed a bit and made the network a little bit more scalable, and they had huge success. And I mean, Polkadot in the end, they want to change a lot, and that will take time. And yeah, in all the time where you build and don't kind of ship it, the product, you cannot collect usage. And Binance Smart Chain, they just did 1 or 2 changes and saw a huge adoption. And so this is also what I like about Tixl, that they already shipped the bridge, and the NFT bridge will be also there in a few weeks. And I mean, that's great that you start building and shipping stuff and collecting users. And that's in my, at least my opinion is that this is the way, actually.
Thank you, Leif. All right, looking at the time, is there, I think we need to end it here soon. Is there any closing words, Sebastian and Leif, you want to add? And then afterwards, I'll tell you about the giveaway.
Yeah, thanks for the great AMA, also great questions. I think especially Ryan's questions were great. I assume he is a member of our community because the question was so detailed, and yeah, cool AMA in the end. Thanks.
Thank you. Sebastian?
Yeah, from my side also, thanks for everyone joining. Thank you, Max, for hosting the AMA, and I think we should definitely do this again. Still, of course, we have to kind of get used to it, but I think it's a nice way of engaging with everyone in the community, and maybe a little bit more personal than on Telegram.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, cool. Then big thank you, Leif and Sebastian, for participating. A big thank you to everyone who joined today's AMA. Thank you for the great questions. That was really awesome, both here live and both and in the chat and in the direct messages you sent us beforehand. I just saw that Tixl and Polychain just tweeted something about the giveaway. So this nice glittery Polychain monster and Tixl blue should be in your Twitter feed right now. How does it work? In the next 24 hours, we would ask you to follow both projects. We hope that we showed you the project and presented the project to you that you like to follow us and receive our updates in the future. And then this tweet that you see pinned there, please like and retweet that one, and do it with a quote, and just mention a AMA statement or a learning that you have from this AMA in this quote, so that we actually know what you like the most, and so that we can learn for the future. And the winner we'll announce on Wednesday at 3 p.m. UTC, as far as I know. Great. So that was it. Again, thank you very much. That was really fun. I enjoyed it. Also, my first time doing this. I'm looking forward to the next one, and I wish everybody a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Take
you,
care,
Max.
everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.